street, and it's kind of fun because we start out this new venture, because we had friends that were like, "Hey, can you bring us to Peru?" And we're like, "Okay, sure, let's bring you." And then we were like, "There's a lot of people who seem to want to go. Let's just put a group together." So it really was just to like bring friends. And I think what's kind of fun about it is that's kind of how this is continuing for us. Like it feels like it's people that we like, that we want to share the country with. And that's kind of the vibe of it. So it's not necessarily, there's really no intention behind it besides let's have fun. We know the country really, really well. Let's go in a group and let's make it really easy for people, and we can share our tours with you. So that's the intention of it. And now we've been dialing it in, so it's actually a little bit more of a business, right? It started. Um, I guess not everybody here knows us. So my husband is from Peru, and we met 21 years ago. I was a backpacker when I was in Machu Picchu, and he was visiting Machu Picchu, and that's where we met. So it's kind of fun that this is like now the business that we're doing. It has to do with, kind of where we met and how we started out our life. Um, so yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
anything you want to?
And I want to add something. And what Poppy was saying a little bit is like we want to make it fun and make it easy for the people that comes with us. I'm from there. Poppy's been traveling to Peru for 21 years. We are restaurant owners in Peru, and that's why we go back and forth like 3 or 4 times a year. And then we decided to do this like with friends and family, and then we're extending it, but with the same format. So we are part of the group. We are with you guys the whole time, all the way from the airport in Lima till the airport to go back to United States. And yeah, we love doing it. It's a lot of fun for us. And we know we do the regular stuff plus some out of the beaten trail, like a little bit like stuff that people don't know in the Sacred Valley. So yeah, we make it fun. We are foodies. We love to eat. We love to go try new restaurants. And the restaurants that we go are restaurants that we've been in, that we like the service, that we like the food, the atmosphere. So yeah, that's how we do it, guys. So
Actual name. We're serial entrepreneurs. I think this is maybe our fourth or our fifth business, and it's just kind of our jam. We like to create businesses and we like to see where they go. And so this new business now we've called it Magical Peru Adventures because that's a kind of the feel of it, right? We have magic, we have adventure, and like I said, people go to Machu Picchu all the time, and there's great things out there. There's great tours, all this kind of stuff, but really we know a lot that other people don't, just from trial and error and coming there that much, and that's what we like to share. And so I guess this is kind of who we are, and we've told you a little bit about it, but we've been going to Peru for 21 years. Like Edward had mentioned, we own a couple of restaurants there. And we really do live it. Like the more that I go to this area, the more I want to go back. It's pretty spectacular. And so I think what we're going to do is there's three parts to the tour. So there's three different places that we're going to go. So just go over generally, and then I have a sample itinerary after this where you can kind of get a feel of the breakdown. But generally, we'll go through what we do in all three places. So we're going to be going to Miraflores, which is like the capital. The capital of Lima is the center of Lima, but Miraflores is like the tourist area. So it's where all the cool tourist food is, and it's really set up. The infrastructure is really set up for tourism. And so we'd be staying a couple of nights in Miraflores. And then we have the second part is the Sacred Valley, which is the Machu Picchu and some other things we'll talk about. And then the third part is Cusco, which is this old colonial town that's built on top of some of the old Inca ruins. So Miraflores, what we usually do, we have a couple of nights there. And what we'll do, one of the things that we do is we rent our own private tour bus that's a Mirabus. So if you can look over, can you see the mouse when I move this thing around? Do you see that little arrow that's moving? Okay, awesome. So
yep.
You can see Chris and Gigi there. This is our double-decker bus. So we rent this privately just for our group. And then in that time period, we go down. This is the center of Lima here. You can kind of see the buildings, and we walk around there for a few hours. What's cool about this, we had done it when we first started, where we had shared the tour bus with other people, and then because then we get our own private tour operator too, who knows the center of Lima and brings us around to places. And so what we like about having this private in English, yeah. And what we like having about this private thing is then if somebody's like, oh, I really like this church, or I want to stay here a little longer, I like this, our group can kind of dictate the rhythm. So that's why we do the private tour now, and they just pick us right up at our hotel, and then we have our double-decker bus. We go down, there's Santo Domingo, so it's this, I don't know, what would you,
Monastery.
a monastery, right? Okay, and then you can see the books, and there's some different things that we do there. And so that's our day where we go into the Center of Lima. And then also in Miraflores, it's well known for, like, Peru is becoming a culinary tourist destination because the
Yeah.
food is so good.
And 8 years in a row, guys, like Peru is the first culinary destination of the world. We have a lot of influence, a lot of Chinese, a lot of Japanese. Then, I mean, we're a mix, but a lot of like Italian and Spain, some from Africa. So in Peru, it grows everything. So what we did with Peruvian culinary, we got some techniques from, I don't know, Japan, how to treat the fish, how to cut the fish for like sushi and stuff like that. We got some of the pasta risotto from Italy. We got kind of like the paella rice and I don't know, like the shrimp with like garlic, kind of like scampi, you know, like, and we just play with that. And that's our restaurant, actually. That's our 2 restaurants there. And we do, in Peru, we have the #1 restaurant in the world right now. In the last 50 best, Central from Virgilio Martinez is the #1 restaurant in the world. And then we have the #5 restaurant in the world, Maido, that is a Peruvian Japanese fusion, a Nikkei cuisine. And so, yeah, we love to go to restaurants and to eat. Obviously, we go to our both restaurants. In ours, we do seafood and Peruvian food. So people that don't like too much seafood, we have like a big, like 10 options with chicken and beef and steak and vegetarian as well. So that's with
I have a quick question. Are the restaurants flexible enough for people with allergy limitations?
yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, it's honestly easier to be gluten-free in Peru. I found there's a lot more fresh stuff. But yeah, all allergies we can take care of. The only one that's been really hard was like extreme veganism, just because. Are you an extreme vegan?
No, I am. I'm allergic to dairy and gluten. Those are my 2 allergies.
Yeah, no problem there.
Easy.
No problem there. Yeah. And
Yep.
there's vegetarian offer. Yeah, there's vegetarian stuff, and then and how we do this is we do like a family style. So if somebody doesn't want to like participate in this family style, we can just be like, oh, hey, this is something that you can just order on your own. But for the nights in Miraflores, the day and night, we'll do one day that we do all seafood. Like Edward said, if you don't like seafood, we can do something else. But we do it kind of family style, and we like everybody to get a good flavor of all the different. It's kind of like if you go to Peru, you have to have chicha. Like you need to try this kind of awesome corn drink, and we know where to get a really good one. So we'll make sure everybody gets the chicha to try. And this type of arroz con mariscos is amazing. So we'll make sure that everybody at least has the opportunity to try some of the famous Peruvian foods. So in the daytime,
Right.
we'll do the seafood. That's this kind of picture up top. And then down here is our other restaurant, and we'll do, they call it Criollo food. It's more like the meat and
Traditional.
potatoes, traditional Peruvian comfort food. And so we'll do that in the night. And then we have a couple of other food that we'll do, restaurants
Right.
that we'll do along the way.
Right. Yep.
So, and then another day. Oh, sorry, baby, go ahead.
Yeah. That's we do, like Poppy was saying, we do 1 day, 2 days in Lima, 2 full days, 3 nights total. When we arrive at the airport, for example, like 10 p.m. or so, we are waiting there with a couple vans, depending how many people we have, and then we go straight to our hotel. It's a Casandina Premium. It's a 5-star hotel that we have an alliance with, and it's an amazing hotel. The breakfast buffet is really, really good. One of the best there. It's huge, and it has all the different varieties. I mean, omelette in the moment and stuff like that. And so what we do in one of the days in Lima is the first one that Poppy showed about the hop-on, hop-off buses, the bus that we rent for ourselves. And for example, the day with that, we have lunch. Then we go back to a hotel. They pick us up from the hotel. It's like a 5-hour tour that we'll get to see all Lima, the historic Lima, the colonial constructions, the center of Lima. And then from there, the bus is going to bring us to another restaurant for dinner. And then from there, we go back to a hotel. And then the other day is the one that she was showing is Barranco. We stay in Miraflores. So Miraflores is kind of like the uptown in Lima, all right? And so, yeah, those are the pictures for that day. So we go for a same deal. We go for lunch, and then we start our walk. So we walk towards the coast. We are like, our hotel is like 10-minute walk to the spot where the people are, the horizontal picture. And then from there, we walk towards Barranco. And in that way, we stop to a lover's park. There's a lot of graffitis. Barranco is a town that is more bohemian, a lot of art. It has kind of like the colonial buildings and the structures. So very vivid, you know, like a lot of parks, a lot of cool stuff to see in the way. And yeah, Poppy, you can continue there.
So yeah, exactly. Like just what he was saying. And then if you see on the bottom here where that's the whole walk is with that ocean on the side. And then there's just awesome things to see the whole way. And so that's another day. And then sometimes people want to walk back and sometimes people want to take a taxi. So that's just however, some people want to walk more and some people don't. So we just facilitate either direction. Usually I go back with the taxi people and Edward walks people back if we have time. And so, yeah, and so then that's kind of the highlights of the Miraflores. And like Edward was saying, we have a couple of days there. We stay at it's a 5-star restaurant or a 5-star hotel rather in Miraflores. And it's one of the nicest hotels we've ever been at. Like he was talking about, the buffet is amazing. There's a beautiful warm swimming pool. There's saunas and hot tubs. So a lot of times in the mornings, we kind of let people just chill a little bit, especially that first day. People kind of want to relax. If anybody wants advice, we can be like, here, walk this direction and you'll see this. We also organize massages. So if anybody wants a massage, we have great massage therapists that come right to the room. So then from there, our next stop is we actually go to the Sacred Valley first. Let's see here. These are
So the 2 full days in Lima.
To see what I had here.
Sure. The 2 full days in Lima, right? And then the following morning, we have breakfast at the hotel, and then we usually leave the hotel between 11 or noon and go to the airport. It's like we have a private van that picks us up, like those big Sprinter vans, and it brings us with all our luggage, like a carry-on, our backpack, what you bring, and we go to the airport. Once at the airport, we're going to fly to Cusco. Cusco is the airport. It's a big city in the Sacred Valley, in the Inca place. So we fly there, and Cusco is more altitude. It is like over 10,000 feet. So what we do there, we have vans waiting for us at the airport. So we go straight down to the Sacred Valley. The Sacred Valley is like 8,000 feet, comparable to Colorado. It's like being in Colorado.
So that's kind of one of the things that we notice just through experience, that let's get out of that super high elevation. A lot of times tours will go to Cusco first, and it's a lot, like it's super high. But so we land in Cusco because that's where the airport is. And then we just immediately go down to 3,000 feet. And that's where we stay to start acclimating. So we stay in Sacred Valley. I believe around 4 nights is where we stay. And
4 nights.
4 nights. And we have this hotel called Andean Wings. And it's basically, I don't know a better way to describe it, but it's like a compound. So it's all within these walls. And then they have it's like a paradise. So there's avocado trees and different kinds of flowers, herbal gardens, hammocks. We eat there all the time. The food is amazing. Sometimes they bring in llamas and they have the cute Peruvian ladies coming in to sell their little stuff. And so, but it's like this private, comfortable place where you can just relax and chill out. And then we just stay in different little,
they're like little cabins, kind of like
cabins, but connect. So somewhere between the love child of a cabin and a hotel, right? Between the two.
It's a boutique hotel, they call it boutique hotel, that kind of hotel.
So then we have our different things we do. So Machu Picchu, we usually do not right away, and I'll show you the itinerary, but the Machu Picchu is kind of the highlight. So these are some pictures of our Machu Picchu trip, and that's just one full day, because what we do is we stay outside of Escalante is the town below Machu Picchu. But what we do is we stay kind of close to it, but we don't stay actually in the Machu Picchu. It's just nice for us to keep all of our stuff in one place. So sometimes people go and try to spend a night in Machu Picchu in the town. But what we'll do is we get up early and we take a train, and then we get an upgraded train. So it's called a Vista Dome. So it's a 360 view or a 180 view. There's windows everywhere. And then we take that up to the Machu Picchu area. we have a private tour guide that's with us in the Machu Picchu. So throughout the whole tour, we get experts in every area that speak English to even, so you have more questions because we don't know everything about everywhere, but these people will be like, okay, this is our Machu Picchu expert. So then you'll be able to have more of a rich experience, being able to have all your questions answered by these real experts of the area.
And in the Sacred Valley, what we do, like that's one of the days. We do 4 days at the Sacred Valley. And that is one of them that it takes all day pretty much. You know, they pick us up at the hotel like 8, 9 in the morning, 7, 8 in the morning. A van that we hire a company to do that for us, not to do it because there's a lot of steps to it. So they send a van, pick us up, bring us to a train station. We get all the tickets and all that way ahead because it's like a lot of people want to go there. The Machu Picchu is one of the 7 wonders of the New World. And so they have our train that we're gonna take the train. When we arrive it's like 2-hour ride. It's amazing the ride. What Poppy was saying, like 180 view, 100 degrees view, so you can see all the jungle. Machu Picchu between mountains and jungle, so rainforesty kind. So when we arrive there, there's a person waiting with our name to bring us to the next van to go up to Machu Picchu. And then when we come down from Machu Picchu, we have a van there, like we are scheduled, we have our tickets, bring us down to the town. It's called Aguas Calientes. And that town is like being, I don't know, like in Himalaya or something. It's just too amazing. It's all the green mountains surrounding you and waterfalls and the river. And then we have lunch there at a fancy hotel. It's part of the package that we purchased for you guys. And it's like a buffet style lunch. International, Peruvian, different kind of food. And then from there, we take the train back to a train station. And then there's a van waiting for us at the train station to bring us to the hotel. That's like pretty much the whole day. So something that starts at 8 in the morning and finish like 6, 7 p.m. So what we do, we're going to be tired that day. We have dinner at the hotel. It's an amazing restaurant, like Poppy was mentioning. And that's the day, the Machu Picchu day. And in the other days, there's like all the different activities that we do. And we can go over that, Poppy, a little bit, like different days that we do.
Yeah, and just kind of a side note, Machu Picchu is so magical. It's just the whole vibration of the place. It's just that rock that everybody is standing by on this bottom left. According to the shamans, it goes all the way into the earth. And I swear you can feel the vibration of it. It is just spectacular. It's hard to put into words, but
Yeah.
I did want to mention that we like to walk, but we're not trying to make this super strenuous. This isn't like we're hiking the Inca Trail. So that bus Edward was talking about drops us off at the door. Now there's plenty of walking to do in the valley, but we're not trying to focus on, this isn't like let's trek as much as we can. We'll be walking, but it's not the point of it, if that makes sense, right? Like so we'll want people to be able to walk a mile or two, but it's not, we're not trying to hurt anyone, And then,
Yep.
okay, so another day is, well, we have different things that we're going to do. So some things that we see in the Sacred Valley, there's a bunch of different animals. So this is actually a couple different days, but we go to a hummingbird sanctuary. And I don't know if you can see where my mouse is there, or that arrow, but that's a giant hummingbird. If you can see, that's Edward's size of his head. And it's a transitory place where migrating hummingbirds go through. And so there's tons there. So we go and sit there for a while. If you stay really calm, you could put a flower in your hand, and sometimes they'll come up and eat from your hand, which is amazing, but we can't guarantee it, but it has been known to happen.
And there's like 22 kinds of hummingbirds that migrate through that place. And they have all the right altitude, the right plants, the right everything for the hummingbirds to be attracted to. And there's 4 kinds that are only from that region. And there's the giant hummingbird. It's the size of a robin. And it's amazing. It's like not even like they cannot figure out how can be a hummingbird and fly and do what it does, a hummingbird does, being that size. There's a miniature one. There's one with a long tail, like a black long tail. There's like all the different color ones. It's amazing. It's really, really cool. And then that day we do the butterfly place too. That's a new place. It's been open for 3-4 months now. So we went there in August with the 2 groups that we had. And we see the whole cycle of the monarch. They have like this kind of like, see that? It's like bluish, and the other side is like orangey. they have like the owl butterfly that is huge. It's like, geez, like, I don't know, say
The ones you
6 inches
always see.
or so. So it looked like an owl head. These two, these guys. So it's all brown with a black eye, but it's amazing, really, different kinds of butterflies. So that's the same day that we those two.
And that day we go to this animal sanctuary called Cochawasi. And in that animal sanctuary, there's like, that's the Paddington bear down there. There's condors. You can see them in flight. Sometimes they'll fly for us, kind of like at the zoo, where you have the owls at the top and it comes down. But that's condors. They're like, I don't know, what's that wingspan,
Nine
babe? Like
feet.
9 feet
9 feet,
across.
up to 9 feet.
Yeah, they're giant. And it's a cool place too. It's one of our intentions. So this place, what it does, it's not a zoo, it's an animal sanctuary. So they'll find, for instance, they have a puma that they had rescued from some nightclub somewhere. And they were like, pumas should not be in nightclubs. That's horrible. So they bring them in and then rehabilitate. So whoever they can get to go back into the wild, they do. So they take animals that have been trafficked or animals that have been hurt somehow. Sometimes their beaks are broken. And some animals live there all the time. And some, what's that?
Yeah, they have like toucans and then foxes from the Andean foxes. And
we get to see it. We're also helping when we go in, our payment helps the rehabilitation process. It helps, it's different than a zoo, right? Like we're helping animals become reintroduced and taking care of the animals of the Andes. And the people who run it are really just amazing people. You can tell that they have so much heart in it. So that's another part of one day. This is another part of one day, which we think is kind of spectacular. It's one of my favorite places. If you look in the right here, it's called Nelpa Iglesia. And again, I think this is one of the advantages of going with us. It's just these places that we learn about that people don't normally go to. So if you can see this picture of people up here, we walk up these kind of ruiny things. And when we get to the top in the cave, excuse me, there's this cool looking, if you notice, it almost looks like it was laser. Well, no, I mean, the technology back there wouldn't have been lasers. So it's kind of like, where is this and what did it come from? But this particular spot's really sacred. And honestly, we've had people say that they liked it as much or more than Machu Picchu. It's a little cave and they call it a portal. So, I mean, that's leading us to perhaps travel. We've never went anywhere else. So it's so far so good. But there's an energy there that's really spectacular. And so
an iglesia translates for church. So it's a pre-Inca church. The Inca's time was around 1500s. And so this is before that. It's from the Chanca culture. And it was the place where the shaman of the tribe went to connect with nature and to predict how it's going to be the year for like the weather and the agriculture. And so he did all the predictions there. And it's kind of like a very hidden place. And then from there, he went back to the town, the shaman, and told the people what's going to happen through the year. It was they say it's a lot of astrology that they did there with astrological or correct connections. So it's a super special place. That one is a hike, and like Poppy mentioned, like the advantage to go with us, the 4 places that we're showing so far, those are places that people don't know really. You go to our regular ruins. The hummingbird place we find out at the last year when we were there. The butterfly place is new. The Cochawasi, the animal rescue, most people don't know. It's kind of on the road to go to Cusco by Pisac, by a town. And then there's Ñaupa Iglesia that we found with 5 years ago with a taxi driver that he happened to be from a lineage of shamans. And he told us about it, like, really? Can we go? Like, yeah, let's go. So he brought us there. And then we found this place.
Fun story, we just met this taxi cab driver who happened to be a shaman who happened to bring us to like one of the coolest places I've ever been to. So that's how this is on the tour. And then I don't know if we have any beer drinkers out there. I don't know. Do we have any? Yeah, I see Carolyn nodding. Jennifer, no. Bonnie, yes. Okay, we've got Angie's husband back there saying Stuart for sure is a beer drinker here. So this is pretty awesome. It's a Sacred Valley brewery. And so for those of us who aren't drinkers, we can do something else. It's fine. But for people who do like to drink, we can do this. We do a whole tour here. And so during the tour, they show all the different, if you look down in the left hand here, we've got all the different hops and the things that they make it from. And then we do this great tasting. And honestly, back when I was drinking more beer, this was one of the best beers I've ever had in my life, because it's from the Sacred Valley. So it's like, it's sacred beer. It's kind of awesome, right? So you taste a bunch of different beers. The water's made from
the glacier, from the
from the
Apu, from the big mountain.
glacier. So it's a cool, if you're a beer drinker, it's a cool place. And we go through and do the whole tour, and the master brewer shows us how it works. And there's stories about what the different, what the names of the beers come from, that are a lot of fun. So that's a part of the day. We usually do that right after the Naupa Glacier, and the people who don't want to go to the brewery, then we just bring back home. So we have that option too. So back to the hotel.
Do they
so
have
that's a fun
ginger beer?
What's that?
I do ginger beer, root beer. I don't know if those kind of beers.
They have these amazing juices, like they have like blueberry juice, like different juices, and kombucha. They have kombucha
I
too.
like kombucha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's amazing. Like they have like 10, 12 kinds of beers, and they are all from ingredients from the area. The hops don't, because they don't have the right latitude. So they bring the hops, some from United States, some from Argentina, some from Germany. But the other ingredients and what they say, the waters that make it so special.
All right. And so the day, and like I said, we'll go through and we'll tell you which day is which, but this is a part of the day called the market day. So I don't know, do we have shoppers here? Anybody like to shop? It's a fun place to go for like gifts, because you can get these things for just so cheap. It's directly supporting. So it's even cheap compared to like Lima and Miraflores, because they have to bring it out. So this is where a lot of the stuff is made. And it's really fun. These markets are great. So we'll even have people buy extra bags to bring stuff home. It's like Christmas gifts for the rest of your life if you do it right.
Like really cool scarves, gloves, hats, sweaters, alpaca sweaters, like good quality stuff, duffel bags, and all sort of things like that. It's a cool town. It's very Pinterest. It's like it has a small like main square, and the town is very fun. It has a lot of restaurants and bars all around, surrounded by it. That's the day that we have lunch around that area, and that's the Pisac market. That's the day that we go back to Cusco to stay 2 nights in Cusco.
Here's Cusco. So then we go up. And again, I'll tell you, we'll go through the itinerary super quick, just so we won't re-explain it all, but you guys can kind of read that, so you can get the arc of it. But Cusco, then we have this town. It's up high in elevation, and it's beautiful. As you can notice, this old colonial buildings, Spanish, there's all sorts of cool things. And like, for instance, this church here, I'm pretty sure that it's built on Inca ruins. So as you walk through the towns, you'll see, just as a part of the structure, it's just like the hotel that we stay at actually has an old wall that's an old Inca ruin that they just built the hotel on because it was there. And what would happen is sometimes the Spanish would go in and build stuff, an earthquake would come, their stuff would leave, but the old Inca stuff would stay. So they were just built on top of it. Plus, it's been tough to remove it. Some of those boulders are like, very, very, very large. So, and then we have our center of Cusco day. And then in Cusco, there are more ruins. So these ruins are called Sacsay Woman. And so we take we have another tour guide, another expert, and we go up and do Sacsay Woman and walk around here. So this is like an hour tour, and you can see these giant like monoliths, and so many questions on how this was made and for what. And that's and we'll walk around and talk about that. And then yes,
they are like
oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Some of those stones are like 50 tons, and they are like put like, I don't know, like a puzzle almost, And there's some of them that you cannot even put like a needle in between. So it's amazing how they did that, what kind of technology they used and stuff like that, because it seems like unreal, really.
Yeah, totally. And then we do another place called Cuenco. It's another ruin. I don't have a slide of it, but that's a part of that day as well. And then I have time for self-exploration. Sometime in Cusco, we have time and places to be able to like walk around, and If you want to go off on your own, if you want some downtime, we really want to be able to have people have the trip that they want. While we're in Sacred Valley, we have another tour guide that stays with us the entire time, and she'll take people on little side adventures. She's kind of the expert of the area. Again, she speaks perfect English or good English. Maybe perfect is a stretch, but her English is good. And she can help you find, like, sometimes people will be like, I want this type of bottle opener. And she's like, okay, so. And so we have her as a way to help. And then sometimes people just want to go off by themselves or with a new friend, or they just want time alone. So we would have opportunity for people to spend some time on their own, or we'll always have group stuff. So we'll have, we do food and stuff like that together.
Right. Something important that Poppy mentioned is that in these days that we do the different activities, we have the private vans for ourselves, like the big vans that bring us from place to place. So we can bring your backpack and, have your stuff there. You want a sweatshirt, a jacket, water, snacks. So you can leave it at the van that is going to be, with our driver that we provide. It's not that you have to carry your stuff and go from place to place. You can leave it there, and we are in and out from the different places.
Perfect. And then this is just kind of a, an overview. So this is our 3 Lima days, and we went over that pretty good. So there's the center of Lima tour one of the days, and then the Barranco walk the other day. And then at the travel day, we meet everybody at the airport. So that's kind of our 3 Lima days. And so
the massage.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry. The massage one, like what we do, like those 3 days, the 3 mornings that we're in Lima, because we start our days at noon usually. So it's the morning is open, so you can go for a walk around the town. You can go to a swimming pool, to a sauna, to a hot tub, and then we schedule massages. We have a couple of massage therapists that are both really good, and they go to your room. For example, somebody say, okay, I want the 8 o'clock, the other one's at 9 o'clock, the other one's at 10 o'clock. So we do, depending, all the way from 7 till 10 a.m. with the 2 massage therapists. They go to your room and do a great massage, and before breakfast or after breakfast. And then we all get together in the lobby like 12:15 to start our day in Lima. So the 3 days in Lima, we have that options for you guys to do.
And then, so our Sacred Valley day, that first day it's kind of like a travel into Cusco, and then we'll take that van down. So the van's kind of cool. It's a 2-hour van ride from Cusco down to Andean Wings, and that's where we'll be staying. Like Edward said, it's a boutique hotel with and then we'll just, so that'll be kind of a travel day, but we'll have dinner and in the hotel, and you can kind of settle in. And then so this day 5.
Yeah, and what we do too with that is like what we like doing. We don't like to change hotels all the time. So 3 nights in Lima, 4 nights in the Sacred Valley. So you unpack all your stuff, and stay there for 4 nights, and then the last 2 nights in Cusco.
Yeah, and then this is another like so day 5 would be like the hummingbirds and butterfly. And then sometimes we go to the Sacred Valley town, Ollantaytambo, and walk around there. Sometimes there's another little hidden ruin that we do. So this one's kind of a surprise day, but it'll be a good surprise. And then day 6 is Machu Picchu, and we went over that, I think, pretty well. Day 7. So what we do is, this is on our way up to oh, I have this a little wrong, but so normally.
So day 7 usually go to Pisac, the animal sanctuary, and that's on the way to Cusco, Pops. I think that's right. And we stay the 7 and the 8 in Cusco.
We do the portal a different day too. I'm sorry. I think I just have the slides messed up. I think the portal is probably on day 5. So that the portal and the microbrewery would be back there. And then, so then we'll travel up to Cusco, and that's where we usually stop by at the Pisac market, so then we can buy stuff. And then we get into Cusco that night, and then we do the ruins tour. So this is more or less, sometimes we shift it around depending on extra busy someplace or different kinds of things, but just kind of a feeling of it. And so then I have some fun testimonials. That's up at Naupa Iglesia with a couple of the people. So they enjoyed it. Yeah, that was on our first trip. And so she just, I mean, basically in a nutshell, she was pretty happy. I think people like us because, I mean, and if you guys are travelers, I think one of the things that we've been hearing feedback is it was just, I come back from this vacation and I'm relaxed, even though we've done so much, because I don't have to be stressed in the airport because we take care of that. I don't have to be stressed about where the hotel
Right.
is, what van I'm taking, all that kind of stuff. And so I think what people find is that they can just go and really, really get a lot of complexity from the trip because they just aren't having those stress levels that rise and like, oh, is that taxi? And this is a
Right.
different language. And what do I eat? And wait a minute, I need a Band-Aid. How do I get that? Like, we're just kind of there to be there for you. And so it creates this level of calmness. I'd like to go on a
Right.
tour with us, like to India, because I think that sounds scary. You know what I mean? Like for me, right? I don't know how to do India, but for this is for us, it's just, we
It's
have
natural.
contacts everywhere. Yeah, we know everyone. Whatever random thing comes up, we can figure it out. So I think that's what we get a lot with the testimonials. Are people are just like, they're relaxed and they can really enjoy themselves. So
Right. That's what we want people, just to make it easy for people that, enjoy the trip. I don't know, even in the restaurants, what to order, suggest, like some waiters don't speak English, so we do all the translation, and sometimes we do family style, sometimes we do, whatever plate you want from the menu, stuff like that, like that's kind of like our main thing, so you enjoy, you relax, you will know places that you usually don't know with a regular tour agency, like the Ñaupa Iglesia, the Animal Sanctuary, and stuff like that. You go to good restaurants that we've been to with good food, good service, good atmosphere. And yeah, and then taking the stress, like Poppy said, right? Airport wise, train wise, Uber wise, all of that stuff. We move in groups, with our people.
ports ahead of time. So what we'll do is we book all the airline tickets ahead of time. And when we get to the hotels, what we've been doing is getting that stuff sent ahead of time. So it's just really easy to check in. So it's just, even that part's quicker.
Right.
And so, yeah, so costs, is, so what
29.
the cost, is, it includes everything. So like my dad was looking at it and he said, so basically you could go to Peru on this trip and you wouldn't have to spend anything else. And it's true, like all the extra transportation. So we've been doing research since this is kind of a new business. We've been doing research on it. And a lot of times they're like, yeah, the tour, it's all included except for lunch and dinner. And then you have to pay for your taxi. So or yes, for an add-on, we'll do this and we'll do that. So as I've been looking around, it's the costs, we can keep it pretty low because of who we know. So we can get that
Alliances.
grouping and alliances and things like that. And there's nothing that you would even need money for unless you wanted to buy something or get a massage. So it's all of the food, it's all of the hotels, it's all of the planes internally. Like you have to get your plane, you have to get to Peru, but all the taxis, I mean, there's nothing that it doesn't include. The exception at food, we'll do one beer or non-alcoholic drink. If you're like, me and my wife or my friend, we're going to party tonight, that's not included because that would just be a hard thing to figure out. Right. But, so entrance to Machu Picchu, all of this, airfare.
Van tours. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, just so, I mean, whatever it is, you don't have to pay for a thing. Tips. I mean, some people like to tip extra. That's totally fine. We don't,
Right.
if you want to tip, but everything is included. So there's just no surprises. 3 meals a day, it's all included. The things that wouldn't be included would be the airfare to Peru, any extra things you wanted to do. So let's say Angie and her husband are like, we just go do our own romantic thing tonight. Then that wouldn't be included if they wanted to go out and have their own meal, or if they wanted, and I think that's kind of logical. If you want to go do something on your own, that's not included. But as long as, anything that we're organizing, any souvenirs, any massages are what aren't included.
The airfare to Lima is like around $1,000, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, but all the way around 900 to 1,100, maybe 1,200. So around $1,000 round trip. The trips are easy. Usually, I mean, what we do too, like we try to, I mean, we help with that. We can choose, okay, these are the right flights, for example. Usually, I don't know, in American Airlines, for example, they leave like 6:37 in the morning from Minnesota, 3 hours or so in Miami, and then to get to Lima by 9, 10 p.m. Delta Airlines, usually, that's a better one. It's like they leave like 9-ish in the morning, and we arrive in Lima 9-ish, one stop in Atlanta for like couple 3 hours. And those are usually around the $1,000 range, and we can help. I mean, we like to help with that part, so we can organize it better, so everybody arrives at the same time pretty much.
So what we're noticing now is that we would, if you guys want us to, for no extra charge, we would organize the flights into Lima. And that way we could find the best one. We've had some people get like really, we were like, no, just figure it out on your own, you know, like, because we did one and it was hard, but then we realized that some people need the help. Now, some people travel all the time and maybe they don't want it, but we found that somebody had like, they did 4 stops to get there. Somebody else left really early or scheduled it for the wrong day. So we're really happy to just, like I said, just to make for ease as a service, we can put together buy the plane tickets and then all go in a group. If you don't want it, we're not going to make you do that. But if you want it, that's just a free service that we include.
If somebody wants to buy their own ticket, we'll let you know which are the 2 flights that, that people are coming, and, that's totally okay too.
Else we do that we found just over these trips that are kind of fun if you want it again. And sometimes people want spending money for souvenirs, for tips, for whatever, to get their own ice cream on the side. So we just give you the money as at the actual rate. So we know that people here were buying Peruvian soles for 3.2, but that's how much you would get it here in the States, but we would sell them to you for 3.7 because that's exactly what we get them for. So for instance, every $100, if you bought it in the States, it would be 320 soles. If you want to buy them through us, you'd get 370 soles. So that would be 50 soles more just doing it through us. Again, that's you just tell me how much you want, Venmo me the money. We'll have it all ready for you when you get there if you want. It's to make things easier for you. So we just want it to be something that's easy for everyone. And we're finding the different ways where people maybe need something, and that's what we're trying to provide ahead of time. But that's only if you want, obviously.
And we do it in $100 increments for that.
Yeah, just for our own sake.
And you can always get it in the ATM too, in the ATM machine, and just take it out.
And so deposit information in order to hold your spaces. We have a trip in March coming up here, and then one in June. And I think people were interested in both, so we can talk about those dates. But so what we do is we're to hold the trip. So we have 4 coming up, but 2 of them are already sold out. So we have 2 more left. If you want it to hold it, would be $1,000 non-refundable deposit, and then balance due in about 3 months. I'm trying to get better about
it. We're thinking December 1st, because we said 3 months at the beginning of September. So by December 1st, it will be, the balance and then the confirmation. Because to get the prices that we get hotel-wise, tour-wise, we have to buy it way ahead too.
We highly encourage trip insurance for everyone in case something happens. It's really a good idea just to get that. We've had things where it showed up for people, they get a full deposit back, they get their full money back. So the trip insurance is awesome. You can pay the money all at once. You can set up a payment program. And then this is like Venmo, and then checks. And so so I can open this up. Do you guys want to, if you want to get off mute, the conversation is done. If you want to ask any questions, we can answer those for you. Questions, comments? Hey, Jennifer.
How many people go on the tour?
Anywhere between 12 to 18.
Okay, that's nice.
18 will be the most people that we bring together in a group.
And have dates for those 2 trips already?
Yeah, we do. Let me tell you here. We have got our March trip is Sharon's doing the first trip, right, baby? The March trip is the 14th through the 22nd.
1 second, Pops. I think that's Sharon. Double check, please. I think Sharon's the second one in March.
Is it? Sorry. Okay. Sorry, you guys. We have 2 going on. The first trip is March 1st through the 9th. You're right. And then the second trip is June 20th through the 28th.
And the first one is 1 through 9, March 1 through 9.
First one is March 1 through 9.
Okay. And is there a significant difference in the weather in those two times?
Yes, March is the summer in Lima. In Peru, is the still summer, kind of like here in July, August. And so Lima is going to be warm, kind of like our summer in Minnesota, somewhere in the 80s. In the Andes is the end of the rainy season. So in the mountains, it's going to be more green. So it's kind of like more vivid colors because it's, you know, the end of the rainy season. In June is the winter in Lima. So the weather is kind of like here in, I'll say fall, but you know, a little colder actually, like 50s, you know, to 60s. And in the Sacred Valley is the dry season. So those are kind of like the two differences. In the Sacred Valley doesn't change much the weather, you know, it's not gonna be that cold, sunny in the day, you know, a little colder early in the morning and in the night.
It's on the other side of the equator. So June is colder there than March would be. I just got a text from Edward. There's a I was wrong on the pricing. I'm super sorry about that. We just changed it. So we did the pricing is actually $34.99, not $33.99. We had some extra expenses last time and I forgot to change the slideshow.
To change it in the presentation, right?
Yeah.
So $34.99, same deal, no? Includes everything.
All right. What other questions do we have?
When would you need the deposit by?
We're hoping within the
Sooner.
next month or two. It's
Right,
kind of
the
a first
sooner the
come.
better to secure the spot. First time, you know, like when
Sure.
we get to the amount of people, like we close it because we don't want to do big groups.
Okay.
The sooner the better. If you decide to do it, you know, we had sometimes in our meetings like people like, okay, I want it, okay,
Yeah.
you know, and then just
So both March though and June have significant openings for people to go.
Correct. Yeah, right now this is my first conversation about it. We just opened it up. But that being
Okay.
said, we hadn't even opened it up and filled 2.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. I heard you talk about
Just-
someone who was scheduled to go. Okay.
yeah, we do double trips. For example, we do like the first group, then 4 days in between, 5 days for Poppy and I to be in Lima, you know, to settle down a little bit, and then we start a second group. So yeah, one in March and one in June are already filled up.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I have another question. I have another, I want to know how tight it is between just people you know firsthand. Because I do have a friend of mine that we were actually at a funeral and for a mutual friend, and I was talking about how excited I was to you know, to have the opportunity to go to Machu Picchu, one of my bucket lists. And we were talking about bucket lists because you never know. She was 35 when she died. So and he said that is definitely one of my bucket list things too. And I didn't know you, it was just friends. I told him about you guys and I said I was going to an informational thing, and he and his wife want to go too. So
Oh, yeah, we're
Yeah.
open now. We started with friends because we knew we were going to mess it up. So we wanted like people who were like on our side. They're like, that's okay to mess it up that bad. We're still happy. So we started with friends as a way to get better at it. So then we could offer it to the public. So now we feel confident that the tours are really well done. We've made most of our mistakes already and had compassionate people with us. And now we're ready for the public. So,
Right. And then if
Okay.
you have, for example, if it's you and 2 friends, you're like, okay, yeah, we are 3, you know, and then we kind of know, and then you put a deposit, and then boom, 3 are, you know, secure like that.
Well,
I don't know if that was.
I'll give your information to him. His name is Peter, and I'll suggest that he contact you, Poppy. And
sometimes it's easier
Talk to you.
for me to follow up with people because they're so busy. So if he wants me to follow up with him, just get his email and I can reach out to him that way too. If he wants, no problem.
Yep, I've got his contact information. That sounds good.
Excellent.
Perfect. Perfect.
Bonnie, did
Perfect.
you have questions?
Yeah, I do. I'm wondering how often you run into people with altitude sickness and then they just sit those days out.
Great question. So there's a couple of different things about altitude sickness. One, we've only ever had one person have it run into a problem. I think the fact that we go down into the Sacred Valley is a really, I think that helps alleviate that problem. The woman who had it had other health issues going on too. That being said, I know that there's a really well-known altitude sickness drug that you take. You have to go to your doctor and figure all that out, but you can take it the day before, and then you just take it while you're in altitude, and it's pretty much guaranteed you're not going to get altitude sickness. Another option, and I don't run into problems with it, but what I do is there's coca leaves. And so coca leaves are what the shamans use for different kinds of shamanic rituals and whatnot. And when you chew on them, it's almost like the feeling of caffeine, except it's in your lungs. So it opens up your lungs and you can breathe better. So I have a bag of coca leaves. I hand it out the whole time if people want to. I do a disclosure. It's not something you can bring back into the United States. It's what they make cocaine out of, but it's like poppy seeds to heroin. I mean, you notice it.
Right.
It's not addictive. It's just, it's cocaine before they did all the stuff to it. But I just like people to know, if you're a nurse, maybe you don't want to chew on it. I don't know how all that works. Just full disclosure. But I chew
And
it on
then
I'm in Cusco, and I can just walk right up the mountain. It's great.
and cocoa tea too, like cocoa tea. And there's like a soroche pill, like altitude pill too, like they sell there. So there's different ways. And the most important is like, we decided from the first trip, we're gonna arrive to 10,000 feet and go down right away. So then you have 4 days to acclimate. Even Machu Picchu even is a little lower than the Sacred Valley. So it's like,
Machu Picchu is
it's
like maybe 3,000
Colorado.
feet. Yeah, Machu Picchu is
Right.
like 3,000 feet lower than Cusco. Cusco is where you notice it, really. And that's at the end of the trip. Does that answer any more follow-up questions with that, Bonnie?
No, that's good. Yeah, Carolyn and I have worked in Colorado in the Rockies. So yeah, fellow people we worked with struggled with it, and sometimes it'd go on for a while. So yeah, I didn't have trouble, but the highest I've ever been is Colorado.
Right. I mean,
Yeah, we have problems really with people getting the altitude, but that's something, different ways to prevent it.
all right. What else do we have for questions?
Is that altitude sickness drug a prescription? Do you know
Correct.
anything about it?
Yeah, it's a prescription drug. You'd go and talk to your doctor about it. I can't remember the name of it, but why I like it is it's been around forever. So the side effects are already all known. It's pretty well known. When I've heard people taking it, there's just like, they don't have any problems at all. So if you're at all concerned, I would just say, go to your doctor and get that. It's a pretty easy fix.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm willing to chew cocoa leaves. I'm up for anything, but my husband's pretty, like doctor stuff only. So
No, we have a full range. My dad's doctor stuff. I'm on the coca leaves, so it all works out.
Yeah. Let's see.
Any other questions, Angie?
Have you had like teenagers on the trip or kids like of teenage, like 12, 13, 15? Would they and how have they done if they've been on the trip, or has it been mostly adults?
It's fun. Last time we had Gigi come, and she was 13 or 14, and she was just a blast.
14.
So she came on one of the trips, and you guys were thinking June, right? After school?
Yeah.
So my daughter comes on, or our daughter comes on that June trip, and it's kind of cool because she'll actually do interpretations of things. So she'll help translate and whatnot.
She's 14.
Okay.
15 will.
She's
Yeah.
14. That age group is perfect because it's kind of spectacular, and they really kind of receive that energy of what's happening around them. It's, and traveling to a foreign country, and they're so absorbent of the world at that point. And I like it better. I feel like when you have like 7-year-olds or 8-year-olds, I'd probably tell people maybe not. I don't know if they really want it, but it's, there's cobblestones. I don't know. There's just more ways for kids to get in trouble when they're that wild age. But when they're like teenagers, I think there's so much for them to see and feel the difference of what this culture is like compared to what they're used to seeing here in the States. And so, yeah, I mean, it's been really awesome for my daughter. It's given her a lot of perspective that she'll be like, oh yeah, because in Peru, it's like this. And so, and then they get 3 different things in the 3 different experiences, right? Because you have Cusco, you have Lima, and you have Machu Picchu.
Sacred Valley. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Very cool.
And questions, comments, Mary, anything there?
No, I heard about you both from my friend Michelle, Poppy's cousin, who Michelle and Julie
Oh,
just.
yeah.
I mean, Michelle's like, if Machu Picchu is a bucket list for me also, and Michelle's like, if you're gonna do this, Mary, they know everything, so that's her recommendation. So I'm excited that she, in talking about this, I found you guys.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Cool.
excited to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Carolyn, did you have questions? I know you. How did you find us?
I am a friend of Bonnie's, and Bonnie is a friend of Donna. Donna, what's Donna's last
So,
name?
Sharon Trahan, we're with that group,
Okay.
the
Awesome.
March
Okay, so that's
14th.
Oh, you're with, okay. That's the group okay. That's the group that we have. Yeah, okay.
That's awesome. So you guys are a part of that group.
Part of that channel group. Perfect.
Yeah.
Did you have questions at all?
I don't really. I guess the only thing that comes to mind is about travel insurance. Do you recommend a certain company?
AIG to be really great myself. Like it seems like my dad had problems and then they makes you jump through a few hoops. So, we'll just if something happens, they make you your receipts and whatnot. But it seemed like at the end of the day, they, make us submit a couple things and then it was pretty simple.
Oh, that's good. You hear so many, I hear so many stories about, them not coming through in the end at all. So many companies not really working out. So that's good to know.
Yeah, Sam tried to make it super hard, so you kind of like, okay, I don't want it anymore. But yeah, AIG was good for Frank.
Yeah,
for
even AIG, we had to submit, and then they write you something, and I think they want you to forget. And I feel like there's a whole playbook, but as long as you stay consistent, finally they're like, okay, she's not going to let it up here. We'll send her the check.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
And I wanted to ask again, Poppy, I think you already answered this in one of our conversations, but if we can't swing it this coming year, like what you said originally was, and this was early on, you said, well, there's no telling when and if we're going to do these on a regular basis, but if you're turning to a business, is it likely that we could catch you in the, do you only do them in March and June?
We're still kind of working out what we want to do in the future. So there's really kind of no guarantees about it, right? The business name we put together, so we have real waivers now that we have other people going, things like that, and to make it a little more pro, but we really can't guarantee. We have so many other things going on, so we're going to do these, and then after that, maybe there's a chance that we'll do them and we can keep you in the loop, but we can't guarantee because we're not sure.
Sorry, go ahead, Jennifer.
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, well, let's put it this way. My husband and I have different philosophies about money, and I have to feel it out. I may end up coming myself.
And that happens too.
Which, I'm not sure what price I would pay for that. I have to kind of feel that out. Or I might be able to get him to come and prioritize it, whether we've got it. I mean, we're on a cash, we save it up and then we do it. We save it up and then we do it. that's how he likes to do things, which I think is a great philosophy, but and then but you know, or I might not feel like I can even do that. So you know, it's not absolutely clear to me. I'm gonna have him watch this presentation, obviously, and hope for the best, but
Perfect. Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
keep us in the loop about it. Because yeah, we really do. We have a lot of fun. We would love for all of you to come with us. So
okay.
One more
Yep.
question, I guess, came to mind.
course.
Once a person is enrolled, do you send out a list of recommended clothes to bring? Do we need hiking shoes for
Yes.
Okay.
Totally.
okay.
So what we usually do is we'll schedule a Zoom meeting once we have our whole group together, and that way everybody can kind of meet each other. We'll do a quick like, hey, I'm Poppy, this is my, whatever thing. And then we'll go through and have a Q&A. We have a whole list of recommendations and different kinds of things that we would go through. And then we put together also a WhatsApp chat with all the participants. So in that WhatsApp chat, we use that for quick communication. The bus is going to be 10 minutes late or whatever, or we'll be meeting at so-and-so here, all that kind of stuff. We also have kind of a fun thing that we've been doing on some of the trips. And I think I'll implement it with the next upcoming trips where we do a picture of the day. So everybody picks their one favorite picture that represents that day to them. And then we all put it in the WhatsApp chat, and then I'll post them online. And then if you don't want that, that's fine. But then we kind of have, so I've been posting them online. I've been tagging people on Facebook because that's what I use. And then it'll come up in your memories, but it's also like what everybody experiences. So it's really fun with kids because their pictures of the day are usually more, like Gigi's picture was always of a dog. Like picture of the day was always the dog. And some people have different viewpoints. The other cool thing about it is that we've had some luck where we've had some really good photographers. So they'll put these pictures of like an amazing picture of a hummingbird. And it was like the hummingbird you saw at the same time in the park, but she just happened or he just happened to get a really good picture of it or video. Well, so it's your hummingbird. You can keep that picture then because somebody else captured it. So as a group, then we're really united in finding great pictures. Sometimes people get like a cute picture of a husband and wife kissing, or a couple of friends like having a great conversation. And so we kind of are looking at creating that it's a fun way to share pictures where from everybody's perspective.
Great.
I don't remember how that question started. Did we answer it?
A list of clothes. Necessary things to keep
Yes. Yes.
Camera would be one too.
And Caroline and Bonnie are the ones from Shannon Group, correct? From Sharon Group?
Sharon, yeah.
Sharon, yeah.
Trahan.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. And that's for the March. Okay. Perfect.
So I had one more question, like vaccinations, just talk to our physicians about travel medicine, what they recommend, or are there things you recommend?
You don't need any vaccinations for where we're going. People get vaccinations for yellow fever if we would be doing jungle stuff, but we're not. So you don't need anything to go into the country. On this trip. We're thinking of maybe doing a jungle trip someday, and that'll be different, but this is not for this one. So
Yeah.
anything else?
Mm.
All right.
All right. So no,
well,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, babe.
Oh yeah, no. So I was checking with like so far anybody's thinking like is there a possibility that could happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary,
Very
Carolyn.
good. All right. Cool. All right. Go ahead, Pops.
Well, I was just gonna say goodbye. Thanks for joining our meeting. You guys can text me if you have some questions that for whatever reason come up later, or you just didn't want to ask in front of the group. Feel free to text me. My information is everywhere, so my phone number, email, however you want to do it. And then let me know if you want to put down the deposit. We can do it. Venmo and checks are nice, but if you need to do a credit card, we can figure that out. There's always just processing fees, so I just like that way better. But we have the ability to take credit cards and all
Right.
that stuff. So however whatever works is fine. And so we'll just be around. We're hoping that we get that you guys would like to join us on this trip. It'll be fun.
Thank you, Poppy. Thank you,
Thanks so
Edward.
much.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Nice to meet you
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
I didn't
It
know.
looks phenomenal, just phenomenal. What a great trip, and at a very reasonable price. So
Great.
I'll-
We can talk to your husband if you need, Jennifer, with a presentation or something too. So.
come on, David. All right.